sales, what is a huge form of sales sabotage that salespeople fall for consistently? I'm Sylvan Bell. I'm coming to you live from Sacramento, California on a perfect day to talk about sales and a perfect day to talk about this huge form of sales sabotage. Now, what you're going to find is it doesn't matter what you sell. It doesn't matter what you offer. There's always somebody who's going to sell it for less. There's always somebody who's going to sell it for cheap. There's always somebody who's going to take shortcuts. And what will happen is salespeople, they will use up tons of their mental real estate worrying about what other companies are doing. Now here's the thing. Whatever you sell, you worry about you. Whatever I sell, I worry about me. Can we make an agreement, right? I'll shake your hand. You worry about you, I worry about me. And what I see is something that could be a sign of a pro versus a Joe, or somebody who's a closer, or somebody who's not, is consistently getting caught up in what other companies are doing. Who cares what they're doing? You're not them. You don't work for them. And if they were that good, you would work for them. And so the reason why I say this is a problem is because if you're worried about that, you're going to go into your sales presentation and you are going to talk around it. I promise you. I promise you, whatever objection you have going on in your head is probably the one that you're going to get, is because as you're meeting with your buyer, you're slightly talking about it, you're slightly talking about it, and then boom, they give you the objection that they didn't want. If you have the hang up of XYZ company over here is doing it for less, ABC company's over here doing it for 50%, 1, 2, 3 companies doing it over here for 30%, if you get caught up in that, it will ruin your day, it'll ruin your paycheck, it'll ruin your life. And the right way to worry about it is you worry about you, and everybody else worries about themselves. It's you first, right? In the world of sales, it's not you against me, it's me against me, just like it's you against you. And so if you're struggling, one of the first things that people do, right? If you ever watch a sports team, sit on the other side with the fans that aren't your people. Sit on the fans like if it's the away team, if it's the opposite team that you don't like, and see what they say about when a ref doesn't call a call that they like. All of a sudden, everybody's cheating. All of a sudden, it's not fair. All of a sudden, they're like, boo, you missed that call, right? Salespeople do the same thing. They get caught up and they're like, boo, look what they did. They did the wrong call. Boo, look what they did. They did this, they did that. Creates a huge amount of problems, right? You want to be a pro, you want to be a closer, who cares what everybody else is doing? Like, I'm not saying don't do market research. I'm not saying don't see what they're up to. But the minute that you get caught up in their pricing and their strategies and what they're doing, to the point where it's keeping you up at night, to the point where you're talking about in all the meetings, to the point where all you're doing is just complaining, huge form of sales sabotage. You worry about what you do, I worry about what I do, right? That's why, like, if you get to a sales call, you should really have the belief you can't outwork me, you can only underbid me. And if you're talking to your buyers and you're explaining what underbid means, like I've said multiple times on videos, you can't outwork me, you can only underbid me. Just remember that there is a story that goes along with this. This is what underbidding means. These are all the things that happen when you have an underbid process. There you go. You worry about you in the world of sales, I worry about me, you go close deals. But if you get caught up in what the competitor's doing and their pricing structure, like, you can't go to the vendor and say, hey vendor, it's not fair, this guy over here is charging a whole lot less, because the vendor's got to go, due to FTC regulations and legal requirements, I can't just go out there and say, hey dude, you need to fix this, otherwise it could be seen as price fixing, price gouging, right? You got to know that most vendors, they look and they're like, I don't care, that guy over there is selling a ton of product, you go sell a ton of product. But it's not fair. He's selling it for less. Be a better closer. There you go. You got one thing to do from here, just one thing. I promise, just one thing. Find the subscribe button and click on it every time I send out a video. You'll get an update. This is Scott Bell Consultant sent another fantastic video. You should check it out, which you should. We'll see you soon. Aloha.